just not for me. I am not interested in this.
Okay,
I love
I
you
know.
guys.
I'm
sorry.
Let's be good. Let's be good about precious Israel. Let the country committing a genocide. Yeah. Okay.
Zero. I think you guys are great. I fundamentally disagree with you about like every.
I don't know if Jillian Michaels is going to be replaced. I don't know if she's replaceable. I mean, how'd you find another person who basically just gives 4chan talking points with a little Tucker Carlson sprinkled on top? Apparently, Jillian Michaels walked off her own show. Her take on valuetainment.
Who used to work for the Iran-backed newspaper Al Akbar in Beirut and
also
contributed
Jewish?
to Al Jazeera.
He is, yeah.
I mean,
Why is it
so-
every time we track down a lie, we end up finding people connected to Qatar or Iran
There's no
behind
proof this
it?
ever happened.
So
None.
Wait, how does that debunk the fact that?
he just
Wait, are you? I didn't know that they were hate watching their I guess parent company owner's show. If you didn't know, you know, Patrick Bet-David, he's the one who runs Valuetainment, and Her Take is a subsidiary or spin-off show of Valuetainment. So it's one of the ones that he's producing, essentially. It's the same way, like, you know, how TYT produces, like, the Power Report and stuff like that. Well, you know, Valuetainment produces Her Take, the one that you're seeing. I didn't know that they actually watch, or I don't know if they have to watch it. I don't know if they're contractually obliged. Every now and then, I think that you should watch our show. It would be, I think that would be very good. If you watch our show every now and then, if you put it on, if you turn on our show, I think that would be a good way for you to get the news of the day. I don't know if they're required to do that. If they're not, that's really funny. But either way,
was lost.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on,
they have a
Andrew,
whole
that
person
guy
together.
was
Right?
like,
Okay, so
guys,
everybody
let's
on
calm
his
down.
team
Let's just calm down
has
for a second.
subsequently said this is not true.
No, they
His
never.
pastor,
They actually.
Colvin,
they
Eric Bolling, all of them are like, yeah.
Okay, Eric Bolling hasn't. Eric Bolling thought that he had 2 daughters. Okay, so I'm not going to.
Okay, Andrew Colvin. The narrative is not true.
Andrew said,
Charlie has a cordial relationship with Ackman. There's no blackmail,
also,
no
he
intervention.
said,
Nothing like what Candace is suggesting.
That same Andrew said that.
Okay.
I'm not totally sure where they're at here in terms of the argument, but I do want to say it is really funny that any right-winger would use Candace Owens as a source for anything. she's so ridiculous. At this point, I almost think that she's got to be like a double agent or something. The amount of ridiculous shit she puts out there with confidence. That's the other. It's one thing just to say wild batshittery. It's another thing to do it with so much confidence to the point where you're getting sued. You're being sued right now by Brigitte Macron. And as she's being sued, she's doubling, tripling down. She's like, I demand that she reveals a DNA test, blah, blah, blah. Well, you talk a big game, Candace, but here's the wild thing. You tried to get that case dismissed. But you didn't. Yeah, the judge did not dismiss it outright. So, that one's going to be going through. And I believe it's going to be very damaging for you because at the end of the day, this one was a wild claim to make, especially because you could have gone after Brigitte Macron for being a pedophile. And that's just a matter of fact. She groomed Emmanuel Macron when he was 15 years old. It's disgusting. There's a thing to call out. There's a thing to reveal to the world. There's a thing to get a whole bunch of people on your side and galvanize the right and be like, we hate him because he's a lib. So because he's a lib, I should tell you the disgusting things they're doing behind the scenes. But instead, you made up this weird lie that she's a man because that's how like brain poisoned they all are. And this is wild because for this to be true, you have to either accept that men can give birth to children because she's had 3 kids. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the headlines where it's like Brigitte Macron is submitting photographic evidence to the court in her lawsuit against Candace Owens. And all the right were like, oh, you couldn't fucking pay me to see that. Disgusting. Must be a fucking giant penis. Oh, yeah, she had to show photos of her fucking disgusting penis and all that other shit. Did you decide to click on the link or read the article? She's had to submit private photos, which are not available publicly, of her being pregnant with her fucking kids because she's had 3. Like, in what world did you think you were gonna be able to pull this off, Candace? It's like at a certain point, I would definitely be like, I went too far. I've made a huge mistake. Yeah, so where do we go with this? Well, there's not a lot of options, Candace. You either have to continue saying that she's a man, but in this case, you'd have to admit that men can get pregnant and give birth. Oh, so she's a trans man, right? But that doesn't mean she's like a man in the way you think she's a man. Like you're not going to be able to call her out in the same way. It's going to be messy, and you're going to have to basically undo all the transphobic shit you've been putting out there for years. That one will not bode well. Okay, what's option 2? Option 2 is to admit that you made the whole thing up based on the fact that you thought a photo of her when she was a kid looked a little bit like a boy. And that is basically the sum total of the evidence you're presenting here. And it's not good. It's not going to win you a court case. You're probably going to have to apologize. And I honestly would try and settle, like just settle for something, like just, you know, settle for an amount. And you're not going to be able to settle and admit to no wrongdoing either, because she's going to make you have to issue a public apology. You're going to have to do that. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you not know she had 3 children before you did this? Did you look that up? She's got 3 kids. I did. I looked it up. Her and Emmanuel Macron don't have any children. Right. From her previous marriage before. Yeah. Yeah, this one's not good, Candace. So that's the same person that the right are now using to try and say that Charlie Kirk was not, in fact, assassinated by the shooter. They're trying to pull this whole thing where, if you didn't know this, Charlie Kirk in his final days apparently was starting to become critical of Israel. He was supposed to have a meeting with Bill Ackman, in which Bill Ackman was going to demand he become more loyal to Israel. But then Charlie Kirk was starting to have doubts, second-guessing it. Isn't that strange that just as he's having his doubts, that he's assassinated? Yeah. And now every day, Candace Owens is putting out more and more content related to this, where she's like, I just got exclusive footage. I can't show it to you, but I got exclusive footage that shows that apparently there were hand signals being used by one of the people beside Charlie Kirk, and that same person may have been at other mass shooting events, which is kind of weird. Also, how did the shooter get away? Why does anyone ask about that? How was he capable, with all the adrenaline running through his blood, to take a gun, to disassemble it, to then put it into a backpack, to wrap it up in a towel, and then to climb down, and then to throw it into another corner, and then to run and then get away with the crime completely until his dad turned him in? That's kind of convenient, isn't it? That his dad would turn him in. Like, this is the same woman where they're getting this news from, that a lot of people on the right are completely convinced that this, in fact, is really, really verifiably true, that Charlie Kirk may have been assassinated because he was questioning his allegiances to Israel. One of the most outspoken Zionists in the conservative movement. Like, have you ever played Charlie Kirk clips about Israel? Or about Palestine? He did not mince words. He was not pro-Palestine. He was very pro-Israel. All the time. He was very vocal about it. They're just hours and hours and hours. He's got live shows where he did that are centered around the discussion of Israel and Palestine, where he would actually try and debunk things and push like straight up Hasbara, straight up pro-Zionist talking points. The man was very, very pro-Israel. So, I mean, there are certainly conservatives that you can point towards, such as Nick Fuentes, all right, Ian Carroll, that are very critical or anti-Israel, in large part due to the fact that a lot of them are also anti-Semitic, and they do that whole kind of conflation thing. But we'll be going with it. But in this case, it's kind of, you know, I don't think that this angle holds up. Why wouldn't Israel take out other prominent conservatives who speak out against Israel all the time, like Candace Owens? Like, the logic, it just doesn't really logic, you know?
Candace and Charlie remained friends. I just want to make sure.
He's saying this is not true.
But they were literally touring together last year.
Nothing like what Candace is suggesting. What does it have to do with their
what
friendship?
does it have to do with you? Just
What
said
does it have to do with their friendship? He's
Jillian,
saying what Candace is
I can't
suggesting.
engage with you if you don't
He's
calm
saying
down.
what Candace is suggesting is not true.
He's talking about her suggesting Israel killed him. We're talking
Right,
about
yes.
100. Please do not conflate the two. Because
Okay,
they're completely
well,
different things.
unilaterally across the board now, we've got multiple accusations that all pile up to the same exact...
No, I think it's the furries. It's the furries. I think it's the furries. But a lot of people...
I don't know, and I don't... Look, for those who...
Wait, are you being serious? Is this the level of discourse on her take? We don't watch a lot of her takes, so I don't know if she's being serious or not. Or it's just a joke.
Zero evidence to suggest none.
Okay, you're saying,
guys, can we just stop for a second? This is ridiculous.
This is absurd.
Like, this whole thing is ridiculous. There are two things being conflated right now. There are conspiracy theorists who think Israel killed Charlie Kirk. They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End
We're
of
not
story.
talking about that,
I am talking about something entirely
you were talking
different.
about
no,
that.
we're not. Hold on.
Oh, you
Let
were
me
talking
finish
about
my
that.
fucking thought. Okay? The real issue here is that before most people even knew that Charlie Kirk was dead, you have Netanyahu giving multiple interviews talking about how, using the fucking moment for his own political purposes, like the fucking
That's
ghoul
totally
that he is. Let me finish my point.
Than him killing Charlie Kirk.
Did I not
never
just
said that.
I literally
So
just
now we're just gonna make
let
a
me finish
sidebar
my
to-
point, Jillian, because none of us can finish the damn point without someone else jumping down your throat. I don't think that Israel killed him because there's no evidence of that. But I had a problem with Netanyahu exploiting an assassination in this country for his own political means and purposes and lying about the nature of his relationship with Charlie Kirk. Because Charlie Kirk didn't like Netanyahu, just like any warm-blooded American shouldn't. Netanyahu is a bad guy. And he wanted to make it seem like, no, we were all great. We were good. We had a great relationship. Little did we know behind the scenes, there was a lot of pressure toward
ends up
Netanyahu.
being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I am not interested in this.
Okay,
I love
I
you
know.
guys. I'm sorry.
Let's be good.
I
Let's
have
be good about
zero
precious
interest
Israel. Let the
in
country
fucking
committing a
every show
genocide.
doing
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Zero. I think you guys are great. I fundamentally disagree with you about like every show doing this. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I can't believe you fucking walked out of your own show. You're the center chair. By the way, she was the racist who not too long ago was doing this whole thing about going on CNN and being like, they won't let you speak the truth. No one will let you have these kind of discussions. They want to censor you and all this kind of stuff. It's like, what kind of discussions are you talking about? Well, I mean, why aren't you allowed to bring up the fact that a large amount of the slaves that came to America actually came from countries in Africa? Why can't we talk about that? And why can't we talk about the fact that white people ended slavery? Can we talk about that? And everyone's like, wait, is she being serious? Wait, are you doing Stormfront like talking points here live on CNN right now? Or is this a bit? What are we doing? I don't know how to react. This is kind of uncharted territory here. No, you're not joking. Oh, she's still going. Wow, and she is mad. Oh, okay, all right. But then when it comes to, I guess, criticizing Israel, which was not even really that intense in that discussion, what did Ana say there that was so bad? Benjamin Netanyahu's a bad person. I mean, if we're gonna fucking bash Israel all day, I'm not here for it. It's not for me. I'm out. I'll talk to you later.
Cool. So can we continue the conversation?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Why did you cross in front of the... Was there no exit on the other side? I don't know what the studio setup is. You know, sometimes it can be deceptive, by the way. When you see a lot of sets, sometimes it feels like they're a lot bigger than they are. And then when you actually stand into and walk into the set, it's quite striking how small teeny they are in real life. So I don't know what the setup is here. So if there was an exit in the corner there, she had to walk in front.
Finish the last topic.
All right.
All right.
Wow. Okay, guys. So, again, to clarify, I don't think Israel did it. And you know what?
What a pro. 2 seconds ago, she's like, oh, I think the furries did it. They're like, what? What are you talking about? Anyways, can we move on? Anyways, so Jillian Michaels explains her decision to quit. Oh, she quit the podcast altogether. It wasn't just a walk-off. It was a fucking, I'm done.
You knew I wasn't comfortable. You misled me about how you were going to represent it. And I'm out.
Netanyahu is a bad guy. And he wanted to make it seem like, no, we were all great. We were good. We had a great relationship. Little did we know behind the scenes, there was a lot of pressure toward
ends up
Netanyahu.
being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I am not interested in this.
Wow, what a snowflake. What a snowflake. God damn, wasn't too long ago you were going on CNN talking about how no one's allowed to say anything. They just censor you when you try to speak the truth about how maybe slavery was kind of okay. That shit was fucked up. That was so fucked up to see. And now, like, by the way, Anna's not even attacking her here. You know? Like, yeah, sorry you got triggered, or whatever the right usually likes to say about these kind of situations. She said Benjamin Netanyahu is a bad person. That's just factually true. He's responsible for a genocide. He's forcibly starving hundreds of thousands of children to death. If that's not bad, you know, I mean, I would use much stronger terms, but if you don't consider that bad, I mean, what are we doing here? It's like, I'm just... If we're gonna bash Israel, I didn't know this is what I signed up for, you know? And she knew I wasn't comfortable with the way that she was coming at me. She knew that I was not, like, we talked about this. She's not coming at you. Are you Benjamin Netanyahu? Are you like a part of his body in some capacity? Like, what is going on here?
Okay,
I know. I'm sorry.
Your thing, and I saw Anna's
no,
response.
I'm happy to talk about that.
And
with
it seems like
I will
freedom of
happily
speech
discuss that with
thing.
you. Let's discuss that. So let me be very clear. I'm responsible for the content on that show.
Oh.
PBD was like, you are responsible. And so at this point, I was saying, guys, you know, this has been covered a week ago. This is the first day of Rosh Hashanah. We're going to look like assholes doing this literally the day after they buried the man. There are plenty of things to focus on.
What does any of that mean? Honestly, like, what a weird thing to say. Where are you trying to, like, pick a lane? Honestly, pick a lane to be there. Like, well, okay, first off, I mean, if we're going to badmouth Israel in the middle of a Jewish holiday, that's deeply offensive. Why? Like, for the love of God, I went, by the way, as I go on a regular basis, to Palestinian emancipation protests this weekend, just this past weekend. I was marching in the streets with a bunch of people. You know who I saw? Hundreds and hundreds of Jewish people. They've been at all of the rallies. There is a lot of Jewish people that do not support what Israel is doing. It's so fucked up every single time that Israel commits a war crime or an atrocity or a genocide that people suddenly go like, well, by the way, I mean, like, we can't speak ill of Israel because I think it's insulting to all Jewish people. I think what you're saying right now is insulting to the very Jewish people who are protesting this, who are very active, who are on a regular basis speaking out against the crimes of Israel. What are we doing? And then immediately she's kind of like, she does that and then switches to, and also, like, I mean, we had just buried Charlie Kirk. So, I mean, for us to bring this up at such a time.
You know, the gun being disassembled, like, what's weird about the text messages, this guy who was apparently at 9/11.
Right.
You want to focus on that. And they insisted on doing it. All of them insisted on doing it. And then when Lindy and Amy tried to make the case for it, I was appropriately stunned because I had had completely contradictory conversations. And as mentioned, when Anna came out, because I said, I do not want another show that just bashes Israel. This is not the time. And she's like, no. There's no evidence.
This is
for
not
this.
the time.
Absolutely. You say that. I was like, I think this endangers Jewish people. I think this is irresponsible. By all means, Jill, say that.
Can you separate out? Do you think you can separate out Israel from Jewish culture,
For me,
religion?
personally, of course. I actually think a healthy criticism of Netanyahu.
Weird, because that was your entire defense a sentence ago. Like, just the last sentence. There was a transcript. We just had to go up one paragraph. And you were immediately like, I don't think it's appropriate, you know, during Rosh Hashanah for us to talk about this or bash Israel in this way. I think, you know, and also Charlie Kirk's funeral just happened.
Yeah.
And his party, that is
Totally different.
Justified
Yeah.
and different. I also think a healthy criticism of October 7th and, you know,
The stuff that Charlie was talking
all
about.
of the
right?
things that, is, but where is it?
I gotta say, you kind of sound like Kamala Harris right now. You kind of sound like Joe. You kind of sound like Brandon. You kind of sound like all the liberal Zionists who always like to be like, look, I'm willing to have a robust and healthy conversation about this, and it is complex. We should, like, that's the problem, you know, says Hillary Clinton. A lot of the youth, they don't understand how complex this issue is. It's very complex, and if we are going to talk about it, we need to contextualize it and talk about how horrifying the events of October 7th were. And come on, can we talk about the 40 beheaded babies? Can we talk about all of the rapes? We need to talk about that. This is important. We have to contextualize it before we have a discussion about this. And that's just, it's got to be part of this.
Balance.
I think Anna is one of these good faith people who
I think
who are
Anna-
not pointing towards Jewish people. They're pointing towards like a government that's
I
acting
think
in a,
Anna has gone down a rabbit hole a little bit.
But I wouldn't bring it up if I bring up a segment and says there's no credibility to this, then I shouldn't be bringing it up.
Wow, I gotta be honest. I'm loving this. What is it? Centrist on centrist crime? How do we define this? Yeah, and again, what a surprise that the people who talk all the time, who fucking they beak off. I gotta be honest. Like, they spout so much shit. You are always seeing white racists talk about how, like, I mean, black people should accept that slavery had a couple benefits. Black people should accept that, I mean, at the end of the day, white people ended slavery. Black people should accept that some of the slaves were actually sold by countries in Africa by other black people. Why won't black people accept? She said that on CNN. Her, Jillian Michaels. Those are her words, by the way. And then you got the mildest, the fucking teeniest little pushback that was not directed at Jewish people, that was not even directed in that sentence at Israel. Like, Anna was like, Benjamin Netanyahu's a bad man and we should be able to say that. And she was just like, I quit. I'm out. I can't do this. I didn't know that we were just going to do another fucking show where all we do is bash Israel. I didn't sign up for this. I'm sorry. I'm done. Just too much. Too much. Not only did no one insinuate that Israel killed Kirk, it was repeated that none of us, though, so over and over again. She had a problem with Americans on an American show criticizing Israel. As long as my country borrows money and continues to blow up our debt to pay for Israel's endless multi-front wars, I will air my thoughts wherever and however I want. So, I'm sorry to say this to huge fans of her take and the value-tainment brand. I believe that the show might be done. Or at least that version of it. I don't know if it's done for good. I don't know if Jillian Michaels is going to be replaced. I don't know if she's replaceable. I mean, how'd you find another person who basically just gives 4chan talking points with a little Tucker Carlson sprinkled on top? Where are you going to find that? That's going to be really hard to find on the right. So, you know, good luck. Good luck finding a replacement for that.
Biggest Loser Challenge on We. Join Bob, Jillian, and Allison in America's #1 weight loss game. Now with over 100 new challenges and exercises, including knee strikes, the Cobra, and for the first time ever, all new cardio boxing.
So, ends up
Netanyahu.
being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I am not interested in this.
Okay,
love
I
you
know.
guys.
The Biggest Loser Challenge. In stores this November, only on We.
First off, thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words